Hi everyone, welcome to info session that we're running right now for CELPIP Preparation Program that we are offering at Ashton College. And welcome everyone who's joining us on live online Facebook, who's joining us in our Zoom platform. We're so happy to have you here, and we hope you will learn a lot today about our CELPIP preparation program that we offer. And my name is Anna Torina. I'm one of the project managers here at Ashton College, and I'm the host today for this event. And I have Sam Behruzyan here. Hi Sam, how are you?
Hi, I'm good, thank you.
Yes, Sam has been teaching for over 10 years in Vancouver at different academic institutions, and we're so lucky to have Sam on board with Ashton. Sam specializes in different English as second language courses like English for academic purposes, TOEFL, IELTS, writing skills, listening skills, CELPIP, of course. So today Sam is going to present and answer all our questions about CELPIP prep program. And so Sam, maybe you can start by telling us your story and what you've been doing in the industry, and of course your story as an instructor.
Sure. So as you said, I've been teaching in Vancouver for over 10 years in different aspects of English, but all related to English, but mostly, so let's say in terms of test preps, I have been teaching FCE, First Certificate English, and IELTS, TOEFL, TOEIC, and for sure CELPIP. And I've also been teaching EAP, English for Academic Purposes, in courses where it serves as pathway, so that after that the student can enter the college. I've also been teaching writing for some time, and also ESL, as you said, at different institutes. And what else about me?
What's your favorite course to teach?
That's so hard to say. That's so hard to say. It depends. Let's say for, teaching CELPIP in a way is easier when you see that students understand it better. But skills of, in the test, the way different organizations test their skills are different. For example, I do remember some of my students, when they compared IELTS and TOEFL, some of them liked TOEFL reading because they could see the passage right in front of them while doing answering the questions, and they even knew which paragraph the question was coming from. But in IELTS, it was not like that. But still, they also mentioned that in IELTS, they are familiar with the listening, because in TOEFL, they cannot, when the listening is over, they have no access to the listening anymore. I mean, the questions are not there while they're listening, But when it comes to CELPIP, the good thing is that in the reading, you can see the paragraph. At the same time, you can see the question. When it comes to listening, it's more related to their everyday life. So I noticed that although each of the tests have, each of them has their own benefits, still students mostly, not exclusively, mostly felt more comfortable with reading and listening and speaking of CELPIP. So to me, I'm affected by my own students, how easily or hard they can understand something, right? So IELTS and partly IELTS, partly TOEFL, but mostly CELPIP. Yes.
So you're saying that CELPIP is probably the easiest to write out of?
For students specifically living in British Columbia, I think most of my students found it easier. Even the topics are closer because you can easily see so many names in readings which are coming from the things around us in British Columbia, or the listening and speakings are in a way closer to everyday life.
I think
That's more
it's hard to
tangible.
compare because not everyone takes all 3 tests, right? So
That's it. So
go
yeah,
for one, so it's hard to compare.
exactly. But when you listen to students, this one says this, I like it because of this, then the other one because of that, then you can compare them from their own site.
And so who should take CELPIP then? What are the functions and use it? Who needs it the most, I guess, what we can use it.
So yeah, CELPIP is a Canadian test. So for sure, compared to IELTS and TOEFL, it is of lower, let's say, benefit. But if you're living in Canada and you want to apply for PR, permanent residency, or one area of immigration, or maybe you want to join to nursing or engineering association, they will require that you prove you have this kind of level of knowledge through this test. So most of the students I've had have been in the first group applying for their PR.
So it's great. So all in Canada actually need.
Yes. Yeah, but still there are 2 kinds, one of them is general, which is just listening and speaking, but the other one includes the 4 skills.
And which one do you need for PR?
So still it depends on their own case, because even I can say maybe year by year some rules can change, as it did for one group of my Brazilian students, so it depends. But I had both groups. Some just needed the general one, which is just speaking and listening, but they should check it. Even they cannot base their own knowledge on what they heard from their own friends last year or 2 years ago, because laws can change every year. So they should check it with that institution or association that require these certificates.
Great. Thank you, Sam, for your advice on that. And in terms of admission requirements for our exam preparation course, all our students must be at least 19 years or older, and they have to have a minimum high school diploma. And of course, because this course is offered live online, you're required to have a computer, a strong Wi-Fi connection, and we also prefer if you have a web camera and a headset so that you can participate in class. And maybe, Sam, you can tell us more about the course structure itself, what topics are covered in our preparation for CELPIP.
So I take it as a 4-skill course: reading, listening, speaking, and writing. In writing, as I said, so some people find it easier. In writing, we have 2 kind of, let's say, almost writing, let's say, text. One is email. So we work on how to write emails. The good thing is that almost everyone is familiar with email, but we do need to teach on how to keep the text coherent, and for example, how to pay attention to the tone, to the register, and how to be polite, but at the same time, let's say, persuasive. So in writing, we work on skills relevant to how to write an essay and how to write an email, and also on how to respond to a survey. And this is also good. What I like about it is that we have so many surveys, and sometimes we respond to them, or at least we do have some, we do see some surveys or some people ask us some questions based on the survey, so we are familiar with them. now we want to write a kind of response on the survey. So these are things that we, if not daily, but very often we can face in our lives. And then we work on how to write a response based on the survey, which is effective. So this is about our writing. And we work on different skills of writing, but for sure, the students should have a good, let's say, command of grammar and vocabulary. And then we work using them, how to make it happen. When it comes to reading, then we have different aspects we work on. But many of the requirements are similar to the other test preps, like understanding or comprehending the text, getting the main idea of each paragraph, and knowing what the purpose of the writer is, whether he or she wants to persuade us or just give us some information. So we work on not only the purpose of the writer, but more specifically on what the purpose of each paragraph is, so that we can answer questions. Also, we will work on scheming and scanning. Almost everyone nowadays is familiar with scheming and scanning, but we share our own ideas how to navigate through the text and to read them fast enough not to get behind time.
And how to eliminate wrong answers, right?
Absolutely, yeah, that's one of the strategies. So in fact, students practice different strategies. This is one of them, how to eliminate. So sometimes they don't need to maybe focus on some of the, let's say, options, because sometimes they are given 4 or 5 options, so they can easily eliminate that. So this is one, but it's still, there are some other strategies we're going to work on, like timed reading.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Or even stress, how to fight with stress on tests, right?
Exactly. These are the macro level. So in a way we can, so accept the academic part, we can have some strategies for before the test and during the test. Before the test, how to keep yourself calm and what to do, even from 1 or 2 days ahead, and then during the test.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes, it's definitely knowing how to fight the stress and avoid anxiety. It's already, I feel like it's like
Absolutely.
10% of the success.
Absolutely.
And sleep well the night before.
Exactly.
And so what about speaking and listening?
Yes. With speaking, so it's different from IELTS, but it's similar to TOEFL, which is it's good for those who get stressed out when they speak person to person with the examiner. So it's very good for them because they are right in front of the computer with their headset and they hear the question and they answer. So with speaking, we will practice different kinds of speaking, let's say, prompts, and we tell them how to answer. This is very, very important because the first time, I mean, I've heard from some of my students that the first time they took TOEFL and some of them CELPIP tests, in speaking, they got shocked because there is time limit for your answer. And some of them had this habit to start thinking while thinking. So starting with that important area, and as soon as they wanted to give the main answer, the time was off and then they couldn't say anything. So we will practice how to start with the main point, and then elaborate on that. We will practice that so that they won't get trapped in, yeah. So the speaking part has a lot of describing something, like they're given, for example, a picture and they're supposed to describe it. So again, you might have a picture. If the first time they tell you to describe it, I don't know, it depends on the person. If you compared me, I don't know, 20 years ago with my wife could talk about a photo for maybe not half an hour, but 20, 15 minutes. I would, as a minimalist, I would talk about it at most for 1 to 2 minutes, you know? So with the kind of strategies, hopefully we will give in class, the students have, in a way, it's like a formula. They know, okay, I start with this. We have foreground, we have background, we start with this. And then even how to, even if you have a lot of information, how to compose the whole, how to structure it, not to confuse the examiner, the test rater. That's very important. So we will work on how to include everything in a way, and how to structure what part to first introduce, then which part. So in a way that has a very good structure.
That's nice. I think it's speaking skills that everyone needs, not only newcomers, right?
Yes, exactly. Because nowadays, sometimes you start talking and the person who asked the question gets tired and say, okay, never mind. And you know, oh my God, I hadn't just started yet. So yeah, this is very, very useful. And when it comes to listening, do you want to talk about listen now or later? Now? So so listening also. So the listening, what is very important for listening in any test is the skill of note taking. That's very, very important. So for a great part of the time, we will be working on note taking. And even so, I hope we can have it of more practice at home as well, so that they can listen to some programs and then take a note of it. So that part can be, there are some apps that I myself usually in any kind of my prep tests, test prep, or even EAP. There are some apps, like for example BBC 6 Minutes. If it is IELTS, I would mention that one because they get familiar with British accent. Then there is VOA, Voice of America, and there is in VOA we have a special English that they can listen to the program and take notes. So there are different kind of applications, different kind of programs that they can listen to and take notes, because taking notes is very, very important, because they might forget what they have heard. But at the same time, for those who haven't experienced it, it's not that easy. And the good thing is that there are some good books that give you strategies and we can use them.
And it's actually a very good skill to learn for your continuing education after that, right? Not
absolutely.
Exam, but once you want to study something in English, notes taking is definitely an asset to have.
That's right. Even in reading, we sometimes we have note taking, and in EAP, in almost every course you want to take after that, it is of great use.
And especially, how do you listen and take notes at the same time?
That's the hard part.
Yeah, because sometimes you go into too much detail when writing notes, and then you part of the text.
That's correct.
So you also cover, as I understand, like CELPIP performance standards and expectations, and like different techniques to write the test itself, right? For each module. So
regarding strategies, you're saying, or I'm sorry?
Yeah, like strategies and standards for CELPIP.
Yeah,
that's covered in each module, right? Like,
absolutely.
Yeah, and so I just want to mention to our listeners the start times. We invite you to join. You can enroll in different modules separately, or you can enroll in all of them at the same time. And we have CELPIP speaking starting on September 21st, listening September 22nd, reading September 23rd, and writing September 21st. So basically, if you enroll in all four, you will be busy Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday between 5 and 8 p.m. Pacific time. So Vancouver time. If you live in other provinces, please keep it in mind. And each module will take you 72 hours of instructional hours to complete. It will give you a good understanding of CELPIP and how you can write the test and succeed in writing it. So far we know it takes around 3-4 months to prepare for the test with Ashton College. Sam, what do you think? How many hours students should allocate for self-study and beside the class times?
So we have workbooks. So based on their assignment, they need to put, it depends, they need to put around maybe 1 to 2 hours on each of them. But the point is that honestly, it depends on their time, how far they are from their tests. If they want to take the test in 1 year, then maybe just one hour a day would be enough. But there were cases when I most of the cases in teaching IELTS and FCE, in most of the cases I gave them more assignment because they were under the pressure of time. So honestly speaking, I would say doing homework is one part, but there is something else. And I don't know, nowadays you're using the word organic. So if they want to learn this organically, they need to be in communication with English, and that is not just talking outside, which is happening not that much these days, but they need to read stories at home. They need to be listening to some programs. They need to be even
watch movies.
Yeah, exactly. But
listen to music.
Yes, but not the movies that they may not understand very well. Those of lower level, like animations, easy to understand programs. Otherwise, they might think, for example, if there is a new release movie and they understand what's happening based on the pictures, the story, they might think that they understand everything. But honestly, it might not be true, right? So they need to watch and listen to things that is tuned to their level of understanding. So I would say at least half an hour, or between over half an hour a day beyond just assignment. So finishing assignment and at least half an hour a day, but based on whatever they like, not something that they don't like but they have to do. No. Based on their own interest, they can follow different things, but in English.
Yes, I think everyone can find something to their interest.
Absolutely.
It should be fun, right? So whatever you like, just try doing it or listening to it in English, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and I invite everyone, all the attendees, to ask questions in Q&A box that you can see on the bottom of your screen, or chat box. And we actually have a few questions already from our participants. So one question is from Angela. She's wondering what books students should get for the exams for the course.
So the books are going to be provided by Ashton College. One is one textbook, one workbook, and that's a good point, because unfortunately the material on CELPIP tests outside are not that much. It's still based on the level of knowledge of the students, I can recommend. There are two good books. I can recommend them, but it's still, we have to see what the level of knowledge is. We have to see the command of English of the students. Then we decide. But so that's regarding CELPIP. So first, the books of Ashton College, and then there is another book that I might somehow supply later. But also, when it comes, so it depends. Beyond this, they will after maybe a week or two, I hope they can understand what areas they are good at, what areas they are not. For example, imagine one person needs to work more in grammar. Then for grammar, we suggest this kind of book. For example, these grammar books are good, although they're already familiar with some of them, like Grammar in Use. But there are some other books which are as easy as that one to use, but it's still maybe of more practical usage. Or when we see that, for example, they have problem with reading, even if, for example, they may not have access to that material on reading, we can recommend some other reading books, not necessarily for CELPIP. If they need something easier, we can start with some easier books for those. We can assign some easier books for those, but focusing on one aspect, for example, comprehension of the passage. For example, finding the main idea of the paragraphs. So
it's important to know your own weaknesses, right? And
absolutely,
what you need to focus on and develop your own study plan, right?
That's correct.
So it's different for everyone. And we have another question from Rita. Do I need to study British English, or does CELPIP writing go for American Canadian?
Yeah, CELPIP is closer to American English. So in my listening classes, when I want to, in CELPIP and TOEFL, these two, when I want to either assign or give some extra, let's say, practice, I will usually go with, for example, Voice of America, VOA, because it's, CELPIP is closer to America.
And that's actually a good question, because a lot of immigrants, right? They at their schools back home, they study British English usually.
Yeah, but yes, but if this is, does it say CELPIP writing or?
Yeah, I mean the writing. Yeah, they were wondering about writing.
So generally, they don't need to. Think about whether this is, because in whichever way of writing they use, that's fine. But again, this is closer to American, and when they get familiar with the survey questions and emails, they when it comes to emails, so it can be of not that much difference. They might use any kind of words, whether British or American, is understandable, So they better not put themselves under this pressure, if they're comfortable with this, that's fine. If they're comfortable with the other one, that's fine, as long as it's correct. But if they want to see, I have this choice, which one to go with, I have access to both of them, then I would say to the American one.
Thank you, Sam. I think it answers the question. And we can talk a little bit more about the exam itself and the exam structure and what kind of questions we can get on the exam. Maybe you give an example here.
Yes. So I might be able to share some questions based on what I have here. So let's have so can I start sharing now?
Yeah, definitely. Go ahead.
So I will go with listening. It is on page 12. So let me find the page first. This is listening. I want to find.
And while you're preparing the document, I just want to mention it's really easy to register on our website. You can just go on ashtoncollege.ca under programs and courses. Under continuing education, you can find CELPIP Preparation Program, and you can easily register today. We usually ask you to register 1 week before the course starts, so you can receive all your welcome emails and the books you need to get and all the materials you need to get. So please go and enroll. We will be happy to see you in September and help you with your preparation for the test. And basically it's $250 per module, or you can get all 4 modules if you need for $1,000. And I think Sam is ready to.
Yes. Yeah, so I'm sharing this part about different kinds of different parts of listening. So you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So listening to problem solving, and it also gives a time, 8 minutes. We will talk about them in class. I mean, we will get a copy of this and we will give the students this. But anyhow, so different kinds of listening, and usually it starts with the easiest one. For example, listening to problem solving. So when you already know that there is a problem and you have to solve, so you tune yourself to it, so before it starts, you're ready. So it says, listen to dialogue and answer 8 questions. The dialogue and the questions are divided into 3 sections. So we will tell the students, the learners, that, for example, with some of them, when you listen, you should be ready to answer not just 1 question. You might face 3 questions after that, so you need to take notes. But anyhow, so these are different kinds of listening. And maybe number 6, listening to viewpoints is more elaborate, and it takes more comprehension and more, let's say, practice beforehand. So let's give an example here. I can give an example of the first one. So can you see, Anya, can you see next page, part 1, listening to problems? Good.
Yes.
Good. So it's like this. On computer, they see exactly this box, and so it exactly is like this. Listen to the conversation. You will hear the conversation only once. It is about 1 to 1.5 minutes long. So they hear it, and then they're supposed to, and then they see the question, then they see, so when it's over, they see the question and they will answer. So that's why we need note-taking skill, because the question and the answer are not at the same time,
Of course.
Yeah. So then again, for type 2, we have the same thing. They listen and everything is written there. So it's so easy to understand, they just need to maybe take the test or a mock test to be familiar, and then they see that everything is clear. So maybe if I wanted to give, so for listening, is it enough, or do you want to see number 5 or number 6? I don't know. For listening,
I think, I think it's good.
Yeah.
And how long it usually takes to?
So they're different, some of them for 8 minutes, some of them for 6 minutes, but at the end, the point.
I mean, the whole test for listening.
So if we go back to this, we can add them up, and then you see, it's it takes around 35 or 40 minutes at most. Yeah. And then when it comes to reading test, again, we will give the learners this kind of table to say what kind of, by the way, do you see the reading test table?
Yes.
Good.
We are following.
Yeah, to know what kind of reading questions they have, because for each of them, they need specific strategies. And then they will have such questions. So this is what I said that I like about CELPIP. So you have the passage, and right in front of it, you have also the questions. And then they click and they see the options, and they choose the options. So they have the passage right in front of them. They see the questions, and based on that, they answer. Again, the reading starts with the easier paragraphs, and let's say easier questions, easier tasks to do, and then they end up with the most elaborate ones. So yeah, that's what I like about the reading. And yeah, so you don't need to figure out, okay, this answer is in which paragraph, or at the let's say relationship between questions and paragraphs are easier to
then in
deal with. Exactly. Yeah.
And I like that I always suggest that students read questions first, right? And then they know what information they're looking for.
Yes, people have different strategies. I tell my students to practice both of them to see which fits them. But to me, myself, it took me some time to understand when I go with questions, it's easier for me, you know, but still going with questions take more than questions. So because, you know, some students go with questions, and then when they start reading, they forget the questions, you know. So even when you want to start with the questions, you need to have some strategy. For example, circling the keywords, you know, because no one can remember, I don't know, 5-10 questions, the whole questions in their mind before reading. But if they have the keywords, you know, then it's much easier for them to know what to keep in mind, you know.
Yes, it's definitely one of my strategies. I like to see what I'm asked first.
Absolutely, yes. And then the next one is writing. So as I said, there are two kinds of writing and email responding to survey. So again, what I like about CELPIP in writing is honestly, it's for my student, not for myself. Yeah, because many of my students complained of task 1 of IELTS because it is graph, and some of them loved it because they were of academic background. They had written a lot of these things when they were during their bachelor, whatever degree, and especially engineers. But some others, let's say, had this point that, look, I have practiced graphs, but this one was totally new to me. It took me 10 minutes to understand what it says. Then I had just 10 minutes or 20 minutes to write the rest, you know? But compared to academic writing, because the good thing about general is that one is also an email. Anyhow, so we have the first one is an email. The email for sure is much easier, but still it has its own nuances. You need to know what kind of tone to keep. You need to know if the tone that you're maintaining in the beginning is to be maintained through the whole email and even at the end, because sometimes we see some learners start with, I'm writing to complain about that, and it's I don't remember what. Yeah. Anyhow, something very, very strong, and then at the end, finishing differently, finishing very, very mildly. Then this is not consistent, you know. So everything needs to be consistent. So we work on all these things in an email. And the second one is responding to survey that they do see a survey, and based on what they are needed to do, they should respond. Let me see if I can find one of them. Yes, this is writing task 1, writing an email. I don't know, do we have time for me to go through these two, or?
Sure, yes, we can touch base on that as well.
Yeah, so you see, regarding writing an email, read the following information. So you recently made the reservations for blah, 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 blah. And then on the right side, you're set what to do. State what problem you had, complain about the service, describe. This reminds me of emails of IELTS test. This is so close to that. So if someone has practiced email in IELTS, they know exactly what is happening here. But the good thing is also they're given the time. So you see on the top, on the right side, it says 26 minutes, 58 seconds. So they're given the time so that they know where they are. That's the good point about it. So this is, I think, something that is easy to understand. And the survey can be a little bit unique to CELPIP, I guess. I haven't seen it somewhere else, but still, it's also easy. The good thing about this, so on the left side, you see City Development Survey. So a survey is given. And then on the right side, choose the option that you prefer. So the good thing is that you have two options, option A, option B. So, but the important thing is that you have to choose, you have to click on one of them so that it's clear which one you're choosing. So you see option A, shopping complex. This shopping mall would include restaurants, blah, blah, blah. Option B, recreational park, blah, 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 blah. So you choose which one to go with, for which we will talk to students to know not which one is better, but which one they are better prepared for. Because sometimes your idea is that this is better for the people, for the community, but I don't have that much of idea to support myself, right? Then so this is strategic. So we give them the strategies how to go through it, and then they type here based on the answers, based on the option that they have chosen.
That's great. Thank you, Sam. And we have some questions from participants.
Yeah.
Would I need to purchase additional CELPIP practice test bundles for Ashton's prep program? And actually know that we offer a lot of free resources, so you don't have to purchase any tests. And actually CELPIP, one of the CELPIP advantages is that they do provide sample tests, videos, online information sessions, and preparation tests and practice tests. And we actually can post some links to free CELPIP practice test even in a chat box right now. So feel free to go ahead and even try and see where you at the moment. Right, Sam?
That's right. I do think that this is the best option, so that as much as possible we'd better make use of the samples from Ashton College. And I know that also CELPIP organization, they also offer some free available. They have some of these available, so they give offer of these samples. They are very good, but honestly, the answer the final answer cannot be given by me or anyone else. It's by the person. That is, so as you said, the first option is whatever we have for free. We use them, but it depends on your level. So sometimes it depends. Some students need more practice. They might finish all these samples that we offer, and they might still need more than they better do. But I wouldn't suggest it now, because we still have access to the free version.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great. Thank you, Sam. And I think we have another question here. So what are my steps after completing the CELPIP prep at Ashton? How to register for exam?
This is easily done online, but I don't know if Ashton College also has this kind of supplement to help them with this or not. But applying for not only CELPIP test, but also mock exam of CELPIP test is easily done through online websites. I know one of my students did it two years ago, but I know it's easily done, like IELTS online. Yeah,
I can actually post the link how to register as well, or chat box. And yeah, you can just follow the link and easily register. Good news that a lot of centers were closed for COVID, but now they are back and functioning with limited capacity, but students register for the test. Yeah,
that's great
for us. And I think especially, for example, in Vancouver region, that's around like 14, 15 different centers you can go to. And there are many across Canada, maybe around 40 different centers you can go in Ontario. So there is definitely, you can choose where you want to write it. Okay, so what else? Let's see if someone else asks any questions. I think we gave some detailed information on everything, and we'll be happy to see you guys in September. Please enroll, and if you have any further questions that, or maybe we missed something, you can always contact our student services at info@ashtoncollege.ca, or call us at 604-891-1249 between 8 and 4:30 p.m. We'll be happy to answer all your questions. And so I guess maybe you want to say something for our future students, for those who are still thinking enroll or not to enroll, CELPIP, IELTS, TOEFL, what's better? What's your final say on that?
It's hard to answer. So it depends on the person. You know, some people find, some people are much more comfortable with one kind of test because they're familiar with it. So I would say, see which one you're familiar. No. If they're in the middle, they'd better practice both of them, but for sure not paying for them. I mean, something like, when they go online and they do phrasing, they ask for some free mock test or free TOEFL test, free online TOEFL test, IELTS test. There is a very, very small version of each of them. They can take the test and then decide which one they feel more comfortable with. But to me, based on my experience with my own students during these 10 years, let's say not all of them have been practicing CELPIP, no, but in general, the writing of CELPIP is easier for them, for most of them. And listening and speaking, the same thing, reading of TOEFL and reading of CELPIP were close in terms of where to find the answers, but TOEFL were so much in biology and archaeology. You needed a good knowledge of these a little bit in readings, but this CELPIP reading seems to be more general topic than that, yes. And in a way, I want to say CELPIP to some extent is more straightforward and of more general topic. But let's say nonetheless, they need a good knowledge of grammar, good knowledge of vocabulary for any kind of test. It's not that you need to be very good for IELTS and the TOEFL, but you don't need to be that good for CELPIP. No. Again, you need, so what it means is that the requirement for all of the tests is the same. You come to us, we give you strategies, we practice with you strategies, how to deal with them. But I think at the end, with the strategies of CELPIP, most of the time, I cannot say for everyone, no. Most of the time, for many students, it's easier to grasp the idea with CELPIP. That's in general.
Thank you, Sam. That's what was
Sure.
a good answer. And I also saw on CELPIP website recently that actually this computer test, at the test they offer, first of all, they offer you a personal timer so you can watch your own time, right? But they also add spell check. So actually,
yes,
you don't even have to spell the word correctly. They correct it for you. Is that true?
Yes. They don't, at least up to 2 years ago that I checked, it was like this, you know. Not only you're given the time, but also they ask you, they tell you not to worry about the spell check. Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
This is a great advantage because I mean, 10 years ago, it was not the case. You actually had to spell every word correctly. But now, I guess everyone understands that in our modern life, with a lot of technologies, everyone is going back to spell check and using Grammarly and reviews the text before sending it in. So they said, let it be in the text. The main idea is to comprehend everything.
Exactly.
Take notes and make sure you understand what you're asked for, right? Okay. Thank you, Sam, for your time.
Sure, thank you.
To have you, and we wish everyone to have a great day, rest of the day, and see you in September at CELPIP Prep.